Hello and welcome back to the channel where we are making a video game from scratch using Love2d and Lua. We're making a little top-down adventure game, and yesterday we got our loot minigame kind of working. We've got strings that we can play. Today I'm hoping we can work on getting some new notes out of the strings depending on which frets you're holding. So the idea is there's 4 strings and there's going to be 4 frets, and depending on which fret you're holding and which string you're playing determines, the pitch of the note that's going to come out. So I hope we can figure that out. I recorded a couple notes. I'm hoping it was the right octave, but we'll see. So let's pull open. And actually, I need to export first. So what I'm going to do, this is the MP4. So I'm going to call this loot frets 1 because it's my first take at it. We'll do media encoder so that we can convert this into a WAV file so that we can normalize the audio and export the tracks. So I think we decided on 128 kilobits MP3 for the export, but we need to take this MP4 and turn it into a WAV file. So 16-bit, I think we decided on 44.1, but I guess it doesn't really matter. We'll do a WAV. For now, we'll put it in documents, loot fret 1 export. Okay. So we will export this wave and then we'll chop it up, and hopefully we've got the right, did it do it? We've got to render it. Okay. So if we open this up in Adobe Audition, and actually, yeah. Let's see if we just turn it up a bit. Oh, see how quiet it is? Shit. Let's mute this so we can hear this. Okay. So the question is this note the same note as our first note? Let's hope it is. Yes. Okay. So the confusing thing about this is I made a diagram. It's all jacked up. But we've got 4 strings, and each fret is going to be 1/2 step up on the D minor scale. So the thing is with the lute though is it's tuned down by 1/2 step. So I had to transpose all the D minor scale into a 1/2 step lower. So that's what I recorded it as, but I think in our game right now, currently, we're using it with the D minor names. So like we have D, F, D, A, and F. F1, A1, D1, and F2. So in order to stay consistent with that, we either need to change our string names to be the 1/2 step lower, or we save these files as a step higher than they actually are. But we'll do this. So like this should be the first string, so we shouldn't have to export that. But this next one is a G flat, then it goes to an A flat. Now A flat right here, this should be our second string that we already have recorded. What up, Leva? How's it going? Nice Jimmy emotes there. Yeah, so this note should be our second note in our game. Let's make sure that's right. Yes. Okay. And then it should go up to an A natural, then a B, then a D flat. Now that D flat, that should be our third string. So let's make sure that sounds right for our third string. Just because I don't want to export these and then figure out I messed it up, you know? Yeah, that sounds right. And then it goes up to E flat, and then E natural, and that should be our last note, I believe. Oh shit. No, D, E flat. Okay, and then E natural here. That should be our last string. So this note right here should be our last string. Yeah, cool. So I don't want to re-export those, and the sequence of notes, some of them overlap. Like if you like my thing here is the lowest string on the third fret is the same as the second string on the second fret. So we don't have to re-export the same audio. We just have to know which sound to play with, which string and which fret being held. So we should have, I don't know the exact number yet, but we should not need to export duplicates. Now it looks like we have like it gets confusing because we saved it with the D minor scale numbers or letters. So we have F, A, D, and F for our strings, but they're actually E, A flat, D flat, and E. Oh, okay. So let's, I'm just going to export these one at a time for the ones that we need, and then we'll worry about the numberings once we get any duplicates. So let's work on doing that. Okay, so we should have this E, that is the first string, and that's actually an F1. That's getting way confusing, but we should be able to keep it straight. One thing I do want to do is do a little bit of normalization for this because they're not the same loudness. So I'm going to do a little compressor on this thing. And the way the compressor works is like we imagine which frequencies we want to get quieter, right? So maybe at like the -6, we want to squish a bit because the quietest ones are down here at like -12. So maybe we say -7's the threshold, and then we squeeze by a ratio of 4 so that we get the peaks a little closer so we can normalize this louder with them approximating the same value of loudness. So I'm going to do one more little compress there so that we can do it. Now, typically in the audio world, when you compress like this, you are introducing a higher noise floor. But it's okay. Like I'd rather them be the same loudness than a little bit more of a noise floor. So now they're looking similar in loudness, and we can scan for the loudness -10 on the lefts. That's pretty loud. Now I am hearing that noise. I don't want that noise. Yeah, look at like the noise floor is just like at like -45, just doing nothing. Look at that. So I'm just going to do a little bit of noise reduction. So I'm going to go to the quietest part here, and I'll capture a noise print of this area. So Shift P will capture the noise print. Control Shift P pulls up the noise reduction, and we want to apply it to the whole file. So if we do 100%, we should hear nothing. Yeah, coming out there. It does distort it a bit. So like we don't want it fully 100 because it's distorting the attack. there's like a staticky sound that's coming through on the attack there. Okay, so we're going to need, let's try 50 dB or 50% noise reduction. We hear that. I think that's okay. I think that's okay. If it really comes down to it and it bugs me, I can re-record it with a little more time because I just recorded these right before I went live just so we had stuff to work on. 50 sounds fine to me. Okay. That sounds fine to me. So let's get exporting. This is our F1 string. This will be our G string A. Okay, so let's export them one at a time, and we will give them their original names, not the actual note I'm playing, but we'll give it the correct. It's weird because the lute video I looked up with like the best lute player ever, he said that typical lutes are tuned down 1/2 step from the normal notes. So I'm calling the notes what they are in the tablature, even though the sound that's coming out is 1/2 step lower. But we named the strings with the proper non-adjusted lute note. I don't know what I'm saying. Let's just export them. Okay, so there's F1. We already have it. So this next one will be G. So let's get G here. And I'm going to cut off the end of it like as soon as I can visually see the tail peter out. So that'll be G here, and we will export not the file. We want to save the selection as, and we'll do the 44.1 kilohertz. We don't need 24. Actually, we did do 24-bit, didn't we? MP3 24-bit, 128 kilobit bit rate. Okay, so this, we will call this G1 because that's our first G string. So let's export this 30 kilobytes. That looks right. Yeah. Where did I say to save it? Okay, what we'll do is I'll put it in a new folder in the lute sounds. Just so that we don't accidentally overwrite any of the numbers. So this is G1. Export. Okay. Then the next note is going to be A natural 1. So that'll be A natural, even though it's actually A flat, but we will call this A1. And that, actually, we don't need to do this because this is actually the first this is the second string. So this A1 should actually be equal to our Tashio sounds lute A1 here. Yeah, so we already have that exported. So, and one thing I'm going to do real quick is just open up this A1 and make sure it looks similar loudness to our other exports, because if they're way off, we might as well just re-export the whole batch. So I'm going to open this file up. Okay, it goes up. It peaks at -3 dB probably give or take some. So, yeah, these are all louder. Except for, well, these ones peak it. Okay. I don't want them sounding louder than the other strings. So well, shit, man. It's fine. We'll export it. If it bugs me, we can always just boost up the gain a bit on the initial strings. So we don't have to export that. That is our A1 string. So the next one is going to be our B flat. Okay, B flat. B flat 1. Okay, the next note is going to be our C, which is actually B. So this should be C. Save selection as C1. And then the next note is actually a D, which is our third string. So we don't need to export this. Then the string after that is our E flat. We want to make sure we get the same like lead in for the sound playing. Okay. And then that'll be our E natural, even though it's an E flat. So we will save selection as an E flat. No, E natural. Yeah, E natural. E natural 1. Then we've got the next note, which is our F, which is actually our fourth string, so we don't need to use it. We can prove it. That note right there should be equal to our F2 right here. Yeah, cool. So it sounds like we're on track. So there's F2. So this will be our first G2 right here. Okay. We might have to do some fading, because that just sounds like it gets cut off, right? So okay, whatever. We'll leave that. That one sounded like it was getting cut off. That should be our first G2. So let's save selection as G2. Next note is going to be our A2. Okay, A2. Save selection. Next note is going to be our B flat 2. So we will export, no, save selection as B flat 2. B flat 2. And then our last note is our C2. Sweet. Save selection as our C2. So we should have all the strings we need. Let's take a look at our sounds. Okay. So we have, I just want to make sure we have no contradicting notes here. We have A, D, F, all one, A, D, F, one, A. Okay. So really only one F, and it's, okay. Actually, no, we should have two Fs. F1, and we should have F2, which is our third string. Oh, we do have to export F2. So that should be the 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth from the last should be our F2. So let's come in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This should be F2. No, that's actually our fourth string. Okay. So our fourth string, okay. Our F2 is that one. Okay. I'm getting flipped, but that looks right. Okay, so let's line these up. There should be, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 notes. 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so we've got all 12. And it's not all 12 of a perfect scale because it goes from, yeah, it goes a little past a whole D minor scale. But if we look at this, we should be able to do the whole gamut of the notes here. If we go F1, that's the first note. Then G1. Then A1. B flat 1. C1. Sounds right so far. D1. E1. F2. G2. A2. B flat 2. Oh. And then C2. That sounded all right. That sounded all correct. So I didn't hear too much of a loudness difference between the notes here and the next note. Okay, well, let's assume it's okay. They're about 40 kilobytes each. B flat 2. Okay. So the next thing we do have to do is incorporate the number buttons being held to the fret buttons coming on screen. So we should be able to hold one and the first fret icon will show up. We made a little mock-up for that yesterday, like this. So we need to render a square or a rectangle thing like this to be our sort of timing. It does kind of look like a chess game with all the, like, this looks like a little pawn. Yeah, I'm thinking we have to do something different for the strings, but I do like the notation. I do like this notation for the frets. So I think we'll keep that. I do think I need to change up the string bass note notation, but For right now, I'm going to get our music back because it feels forbidden to stream without the music going. So we'll need to get this bar, this like what do we call it? Timing bar or like beat bar? Because you have to hit it on the beat. I don't know. Beat bar is the only thing I can think of right now. And then we need to basically have it so that when you press 1, the fret for the first string will populate inside the beat bar. So we need to come up with a standard size for the fret icons, export them, and then render them in the beat bar once we include that. And then we have to do some calculating where we say if the string was pressed, then we first determine the highest value of fret being held, because if you hold 1, 2, 3, and 4, only the top fret would count. And that's kind of carryover from actual music. So we have to not just change the frets once the buttons are pressed, but to have an order of precedence for the frets. So it's almost like we need to calculate. Yeah, all we have to do is calculate all the frets currently being held and just take the highest number. So that should be easy. And then we would need to render the fret icon on the beat bar for every one of them. So let's work on getting a consistent fret icon size going on. So maybe we'll start with an 8x8 and see if that gets us, because most of our icons are 16x16, but that's way too big. So let's try 8x8 and see where that gets us. So the first icon is going to be the open string, which is just a circle. So let's we will save this as a PNG and we'll put it in our exports here for Tashio. Where are you? Graphics. Okay. So I'm going to call all of these loot ones loot something. So or maybe fret. I'm going to call it fret open PNG. Okay. And then we need the first fret icon, which is just a diagonal line. So that might be too thin, or it might not be too thin. I guess the alternative would be something this thick, right? Yeah, actually, that doesn't look too bad. It's just that if we look at this, yeah, shit. We might need this should actually go diagonally, like to the middle, because it should go up taller. So let's redo this because ultimately the third fret needs to match the other side of it. So this might need to be something like this, because there's the third fret, the triangle. There's the second fret, the arrow. First fret is you know what? We'll split the difference. Like, I think we'll start with this. This will be the first fret, and we will save as a PNG. We will call it fret 1. And then let's do fret 2, which is the line something like this. I don't know if I like that, but we'll see how it looks. I don't know if the size is even right. So let's, before we get too much further, let's just import them as their current sizes and see if that's even a good size for them. So what we'll do is pull our game open. And we'll go into our dependencies, and we are going to require these global loot images. So we're going to call it fret open gets love.graphics new image, and it's in our graphics folder, and it's called fret. I'm going to keep to our naming convention of camel case, which means I'm going to go rename it right now because I don't want different naming conventions. So let's do fret. We have string sheet already like that. It's okay. We'll change that eventually. So fret open camel case. Fret 1 and fret 2. Okay. So we're going to pull in all of these frets, and it's going to be a fret 1 and a fret 2. Okay, so let's go into our play state, and we're just going to come in and draw these things. So we're just going to say fret open. Actually, we're going to do a love.graphics draw, and the drawable is our fret open, and we'll put it at 0, 0 just so we can see it, and then we'll do our fret 1 at the same X, left side of the screen, but a little bit down. I just want to see their size in relation to the strings. So let's see what they look like. Okay. I see the circle. X and Y. Yeah, that should be... I see the circle, but I don't see the other ones. Let me just put each one individually at 0, 0 and see if I'm messing something up there. So here should be fret 1. Oh, I see it. It's just blending in with the... Yeah, it's blending in with the... We might need to put them with like a white background so that you can see, because if we were to move this lower, and actually we should put this... Yeah, this is after our loot string. So let's move it so that we can see it over a string. So like, let's just move it like this, maybe, I don't know. I don't see it. Oh, it's way at the bottom there. Yeah. See, like, there's the line, but you can hardly see it. So maybe we can have like a... Maybe they're carved into stone or something. We need something high contrast so you can see the notes. But let me see what the fret 2 looks like. Yeah. See, it's just not readable at all. I think the size is fine, but we definitely need to put... Hey, what's up, Prosto? Yeah, our fret images are just not very visible. So I think we need to, at least for now, what we can do is just give it a white background so that we can actually see it. And then I messed up by overriding this, but that's okay. We'll just save fret 2. We will save it as a PNG called fret 2. Okay, now let's see it. Okay, cool. So yeah, much more readable. It needs a little bit of breathing room, right? So it needs more white on all sides. So instead of 16 by 16, it should be 18 by 18. But the image is 16 by 16. So let's give it a little buffer there, and then maybe we can round out the corners. And then we'll at least leave it like that, at least for a test. But as long as we've got placeholders. No sleep. Crazy neighbors. Dang, dude. Gotta get some of those shooting range earmuffs to put on. That sucks, man. I'm sorry. Okay, so 8, 8. Okay, so we want 2 pixels bigger on either side. So we want a 10 by 10. Nice. So there is our second fret animation, or sprite holder template. So let's go save as. This is our fret 2. Save it as a PNG. Okay. Now let's do our fret 1. Which is right here to right here. Save as. Fret 1 PNG. And overwrite. Yeah, that sucks, man. Okay. I did the same thing I swore I wouldn't do when I just overwrote my other ones. But what we can do is open up the PNG. And fret 3 is like this, but with the closed or colored in like this. And then there's like a little hat on top of fret 4. So, oops. Yeah. That'll be fret 4. And then we also need to overwrite our fret open to be this new size. I'm just going to open the fret open and remake it with the proper canvas size. Okay, there's our open fret. Kind of thinking I want like a slight 3D look, or like just like a little bit, like we do like a little bit of a gray here. on the bottom and left. I don't know if I like that. Yeah, very 3D of me. It's about as 3D as I get. I don't know, maybe something like this where we color like the bottom left quadrant. No, I don't like it. We'll just leave it as white. Let's see what happens when we draw them all now. So let's make sure we've got our other drawables. So we have a fret 3 and a 4. And then... Oh. Oh no. I'll tell you what we do with their Wookiees in this channel. We make them mods. Okay, so we've got all of our frets imported. And when we render them, let's just render a handful of them so we can see. So we'll just do a line of them so we can see them all. Oops. Okay, so we've got 0, then we've got 10, then we've got 20, 30, and 40. Okay, so there's our frets, our fret code. So we need to only show these if we're both in the loot state and our numbers are being held. But we only show whatever number has the most precedence. So we only show one of these at a time if multiple are held. And technically there is no way to show the open string just yet. Maybe if we play a string without a fret being held, we can preview the open string. That way people can kind of know, you know, because like we're trying to communicate this non-verbally, so the shapes are supposed to help kind of bridge that gap. So let's work on reading our number inputs and only showing whatever fret has the highest priority. So we need to associate each fret with a number so that we can know fret 4 is higher than fret 3. So the only thing is the keyboard input is registered as a string, so we can't really compare the string there. So maybe what we do is we have a table of the current highest fret held. I don't know. Maybe every time we press a 1 through 4, we take whatever number was pressed and we insert it into a table of frets held. And then before we insert it, we check to see if it is if the table's empty, we would just go ahead and insert it. But if there is a value in there, we'd have to make sure that the value that we're holding is higher than the value that's already in there in order to replace it in our frets held table. So we could do something like that, because that way and it wouldn't be frets held, it would be like winning fret or I don't know what we would call it. So let's do something here where we're gonna make a table, and it'll be called. Yeah, you like that, Prosto? You like the music? We're finally 6 months in, and we finally are gonna have some music in our game, so that's cool. Okay, so I'm thinking of another way to do this. Anytime a key is pressed, we can insert it into the frets held table, but also what not you using? I don't know. Music? Oh, do you have any music? You have some sound effects, right? Oh, what notes am I using? I'm using a D minor scale tuned down 1/2 step, starting at E and ending on B. So, if that helps you. I found a video on YouTube about this dude playing lute, and his was tuned in the D minor scale, just everything tuned down 1/2 step. So it's technically the notes are, or like the notes when he reads them, the strings are not D flat minor, D minor. So there's not D flat minor, because the root note is a D, not a D flat. No, so I guess technically, I guess it would be D flat minor technically. It's just that when the dude was like reading, I don't get it, because he said that the notes were he would read it as if it was an F, but it's really an E. So, but he says it's an F. It's just that the way it's tuned it's technically an E. So I guess you're technically right. It would be a D flat minor scale. Well, it would be, yeah. Yeah, it is weird. I don't know. It was confusing, but I wrote it down, like the notes I needed, so it became a little less confusing, but took me a little while. The tricky thing for this for me is like no, okay, we can do this. This will be easy. So we'll have a table called frets held. Now, whenever, in our update, we will cycle through, and if any, oh my, what did I just do? Dude, is our weather empty now? Hold on, what did I do there? Do we not? We should have we don't have a weather class anymore. Okay. Whatever. That was weird. That's what I did. It was harpooned and it doesn't exist, so it just kind of showed up blank. Okay. So, right here, if it's lute state, we're going to go ahead and check which frets are being held. So what we'll do is we'll check every key for being held. And if it's pressed, it's keyboard was pressed, and if it's 1, then we need to insert into our table.insert, and we're inserting into our frets held table, the value of 1, a integer or a number. And then that way we can pull the highest number once they're all in there. So if we say We don't want to do an else if here because we want if all four are held on the same frame, we still want all four to be in this table. So we don't want an else if there. And then we would say frets held and insert the value 2. Not that, not that, not that. Okay. So the first step is to just get a list of how many frets were pressed, and then upon a release, we also want to remove it from the table. But let's check that this is working first. It should be working. It's very simple. Okay, so if we go into here and we say, let's do a love.graphics print, and we want to print the table of our frets held, and we'll place it at 0, maybe 100. Okay, so it's only if we are in a loot state that it'll input the frets held. So that's good, but we do need to take out the value if the key is released, both in the loot state and not in the loot state. So let's work on the loot state first. I guess we could do it outside. I don't know. Because if it's not a loot state, we shouldn't be keeping track of which fret is played because there's no frets to be played. So let's do this. We want to, if key released, I think we have a special table we already configured for this. Was released, right? Was released 1. Okay, so we want to make sure we take every one number out of our table. So we want to cycle through our table and we want to say if the value in that table is equal to the number 1, then we want a table.remove. Oh, how do we get the position? I guess. Oh, K is our position. So we would want to say frets held, and the position is K. So let's try that. And that'll be just in our loot thing. So I want to keep 1 held, and then I want to let go and see if 1 goes away. It does. Now we are changing our font here. Yeah, you know what? I like this other font we are using for our debug info, but let's change that up so it doesn't interfere. So we'll look for when we press 1 for our debug, And we'll change this to actually, now we'll have it at 5 and 6. So this will be 5. This will be 6. We do want to do this pixel font though for our other prints. So let's go to the render and we'll just do the pixel font here. And then we'll see. That's not the pixel font, but we are removing at least one right now, so that's good. Pixel font. What else? Oh, is this in our play state? What the heck? Oh, classic font. Oh, we changed it here. Okay. Pixel font. Okay. I don't know where I'm looking at because I needed to put it right here. Nope. Pixel font. Let's try that. Where did that other pixel font go? Okay, let's see. Nice. Okay, so we're removing the first fret. So like the first step is to like take out the frets as we let go, but then the second step is to only keep the highest fret number. So that if we hold 1, it'll be 1. If we hold 2 and 1, it'll just be 2. 3 will overwrite it, and then as we release, hopefully it'll update. So let's look for our frets held. Okay, so we want to release this. I think we might want to do all of this outside of our loot state. Regardless of loot state, not in else. So let's just do it in here first. So we want to say if 2 is released, then we'll remove the second fret from our table. And then if 3 is released, we'll remove 3 from our table. And then if 4 is released, remove 4. So let's see. Okay, cool. So as I hold the frets, we only get whatever frets I'm currently holding down. So, okay. So that looks like it's working, but now we need to only keep the topmost fret held. So one thing I'm thinking of though, which is why I think we need to put it outside of the loot state, is if we hold all 4 frets, turn off the loot state, then let go, it still thinks it's held. And then if we pop in the loot state, it still thinks it's held. So, what not from scale you used? No, it's just it's just a D minor scale tuned down half a note. Not a pentatonic. I don't know what that actually equates to, but it is just a D. It's a D minor, which means the only flat is a B flat. But then it's tuned down half a note, so there's that. I think we want to put all of this outside of our loot state. So we'll do this here. And then that should fix the issue we just saw. So now let's see. Yes, so we're still populating, but if we keep it held and then toggle off, then let go, it still flushes it out. And then it only populates it if we're in loot state. Now we could do anytime loot state is false, we just flushify this frets held anyway. 5 notes that always sound good. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what their relationship is with one another, but this is not that. We have a couple different notes. Yeah. 7. I think we have 7 notes in our scale. Okay, I think I want to manually flush this frets held if we're not in loot state. So if we're not in loot state, I'm just gonna say flush it. I guess it doesn't matter. We can add that if it comes down. There are 4 strings and 4 frets for each string, and some of them overlap. So it goes F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F, G, A, B flat, C. Those are all of our notes, but some of them are octaves, right? We have 2 octaves of F, C, B flat, and A. And then some strings overlap with some frets. So we only have I don't know. I can pull up how many total notes we have exported. So it looks like it's 12 notes total. Yeah, and then a couple octaves. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 notes that have octaves. So there's a total of 8 unique notes. Yeah, there's going to be frets. So the idea here is that we have open strings, and then we have frets, which are these symbols here. So like it'll be like Guitar Hero, where it's coming in from the side here, and if it's a circle, then you just hit the string with no frets. If it's a line, then that's 1 fret. If it's 2 lines, it's 2 frets. If it's the triangle, it's 3 frets. And then if it's this thing, it's the 4th fret. So we're gonna have like a little bar that shows the timing, right? So we're gonna have like this, like the equivalent of like the front of the fretboard on Guitar Hero, like when you're supposed to hit the timing for the notes, and then these notes slide in from the right, and then you have to hit it at the right fret on the right string for the right note to come out. But it's different than Guitar Hero in the sense that in Guitar Hero, the good sound comes out if you hit the right note, but if you hit the wrong note at any time, it sounds like crap every time. But mine, a real note will come out. It just won't be the exact note that's supposed to come out. So it should sound better than Guitar Hero when you mess it up. But if you get all the right notes, there's 4 frets. So I figure you have 4, your right 4 fingers can play the strings, your left 4 fingers can play the frets. And then I figured anything more complicated than that, and people might just not want to play. So I think it's a decent level of difficulty. I'm shooting for like a medium difficulty on Guitar Hero. If you played that, like I'm shooting for like something like a medium for these things, so that you don't have to be super great at. You might have to practice a couple times, but hopefully everyone should be able to play it with enough practice, because we should give instant feedback for the frets that are being held. So the next step here is if I played this game knowing that, I'd play songs like Hot Cross Buns. Yeah, exactly. So that's the point, is like we have access to over a whole scale worth of notes, so you could play any typical song that exists in the range of 1 scale. So you could play Hot Cross Buns and stuff. And that's what Guitar Hero is missing. Like, you can't just play and make up your own songs, whereas in this game you can make your own music. If you make notes with 4 intervals, 4T intervals, 4 frets. With 4 frets, there would be no note overlaps. And I'm doing it a little different. Like I'm going off the actual tuning of a lute. So like we could be able to space them out so there are no overlaps. We definitely could do that. Yeah, like a quarter note are you talking about? Or like yeah, if you say four half steps would be 2 whole steps in music. And then the thing is, I wanted to try to stay true to like a classical lute. So these strings are the first 4 tunings of an actual lute, and then from here on out, it depends on the lute because there's a bunch of different ones, but it does this F, D, A, F, just an octave lower, and then it goes half step, half step, half step, half step down in a D minor scale. But we don't want 12 strings because it's just going to be too complicated. So it's yeah, so it's not quite guitar tuning. It's closer akin to lute tuning, but yeah, because it's what, Eddie 8 Dynamite, Goodbye Eddie on guitar. Our frets are the same spacings, but our strings are not. But yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know mandolin was tuned in perfect fifths or whatever. Okay, that's interesting. That's cool. I'll have to look into that. That sounds interesting. So I think the next step here is to just get whatever the highest fret is, and then once we have that, we can render only the fret that is supposed to be pressed here. And then we can add the beatbox, I think is what I'm calling it, where it's like when you hit the beat. And then we can start manipulating the sound based on which fret and string you're playing, because we've got all the notes exported. Now we just need to place them. So let's remove every key that is, the lowest. How do we do that? We would cycle through and count the highest number, and then assign the table to be only the highest number. So once we've done this, once we've released any frets that aren't in there, we need to cycle through our table and keep track of the local highest fret. So we can cycle through only if it's not empty, right? So we can say if the number of frets held does not equal 0, meaning we have, I guess we could do greater than 0. If we are holding 1 or more frets, then we want a local highest to be set. We'll set it as 0 right off the bat, but then we'll cycle through all the values in our frets held, pairs frets held, and we want to say if the value is greater than our highest local variable, then we want to set our highest variable equal to the value we just found. So by the end of this loop, we should have the highest value of fret, and then what we want to do is clear our frets table and insert only the value of the highest fret. So we'll say insert into our frets held the value of our highest. And then that should give us only the highest fret. Let's see. Nice. So you guys can't see this, but I'm holding more than 1 fret at a time, and 4 will always outdo 2. Oh, one thing we're screwing up, since we're clearing since we're clearing the input table, since we're clearing the frets held, once we release, I'm still holding 2, but it doesn't say that there's a 2 in there. So we also need to check for the continuous input as well before we remove the table like this. Or we check for continuous input after the fact. Shit, I don't know. I think if we check for continuous input and also input them here, I think, shoot, let's try where we do the insert here. Let's try if it was pressed or if it is down and see if that makes a difference. Because if it is down, we also want that to be in the fret held table. I don't know if this will work. I don't know what part it's getting screwed up at. I think it's at the release because we're flushing everything. But if we flush everything, then the next frame, this will be triggering for is down, so I think it might work. Okay, let's see. Yes. Yes. So what I'm doing is keeping 2 held and then just tapping 3 and 4, and it defaults to the highest fret, or nothing if nothing's held. Okay, cool. So now that we've got the value of the highest fret, now we just need to render whichever fret that equates to. So ideally we would have, like, my idea is, like, if we have the beatbox right here, or on the left side, right? Then anytime you hold any fret, every space will show with that corresponding fret. So that as like a line's coming down and you hold 1, it'll show the line there, and then you need to know, oh, I just need to hit the 3rd string because I'm already holding the right fret. That's the kind of idea. So it's like we get that instant feedback for the frets you're holding. There's not going to be any fancy, like, hammer-ons and pull-offs. Even though that could be cool. I don't think I'm going to... we're trying to ship this game, so I don't think I'm going to be able to add that. But let's see how far we can get. We do need to potentially render each one of these frets at all 4 string locations. So we should either settle on a beatbox location so that we can place the fret indicators inside of it. How would we do that? I think all we need to do is say, if the value of frets held is equal to 1, then render 4 of the fret 1 drawables, and we just place it at the right string location or whatever. So let's try to do that. Instead of rendering all of our frets right now, we'll go here and we'll turn this off. And we'll check instead, and we'll say if the... how do we do this? We want to say if... I think we want to make sure that there is a indexable... I guess if it's an empty table and you try to index it, it would just be nil. I don't know if that would crash, but we can say if the frets held is greater than 1, meaning it has a number, or greater than 0, if it has a number in there, then let's go ahead and then check if the index, or we can say frets held at index 1, if that is equal to 1, then we want to render the first fret on all different lines. So let's, for example, say that fret 1 can be spaced at 10 Y increments. Then let's see if this works. For holding the fret in loop state. Nice. So yeah, this is the idea. Like, you hold whatever fret and it gets populated in the, what I'm calling beatbox. The box for hitting it in time. So if we have this outline and this is rendering over our fret board or whatever we call it. Oh lordy, what did I just do? That's cool. And then if we get the other ones working, so like, let's try to get the spacing right. We should be down lower. I believe we have we have this lute string spacing, and then I thought we had a lute offset for our lute string renders. So let's see what that value is. It's no. Let's go to our lute string class and see. We have a lute string Y offset. Let's try to draw our frets here at this lute string offset. So let's just add that to the first one and see where that might end up. Lute string Y offset, and let's actually just do that, and we will comment out these so they don't get in the way. I don't see it. Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. So right at the offset there. So now every subsequent line needs to be the offset plus 10 or whatever. So we could do a little loop for this, which we should probably do. We can say for I gets 1, comma through 4, do a draw, and we want to draw the lute string offset times, no. We want to draw we want to add and let's start this at 0, because we don't want to offset it any if it's the first one, but we want to offset it by a I amount times 10. So we can say 10 times I. So the first one would be 0, second one would be 10, then 20 and 30. I think that's right. Let's see. Nice. Okay, so they don't offset just right, but maybe we can just add a spacing. We have a lute string spacing, I think. It's different though. The lute strings are a different height, so that won't quite do it. Yeah. Well, we want to do I don't know. Yeah, that's not quite right. Yeah, we want to change the spacing in between them, which I think that would mean we just add in a certain spacing here, right? It's not giving us space in between them. Because we're... Shoot. Maybe a loop wasn't the best idea for this, but... It's close. Yeah, we need to multiply, or no, we need to add another. Maybe we can add 11 in here instead of 10, and that'll give us the space. Yeah. So let's try maybe 13. What up, Magnetonics? How's it going, dude? Yeah, not quite. It might be down at 12. There we go. That looks good. So let's just make sure we set our fret color before we render our frets so that we don't accidentally change the color there. I guess it does kind of make sense for the beatbox to be all the way flush to the left like that, yeah? Actually, it kind of makes, well, yeah, maybe. I think what I want to do is give a 1 pixel border. Yeah, I think I want to do a 1 pixel border of a beatbox so I can scoot it in by 1 pixel and then draw the beatbox. And then what we should be able to do is draw the box without exporting a PNG. We should be able to draw a rectangle with a line mode. Form rendering. Is that for your characters, Prosto? That sounds cool. 1 pixel border rules. Yeah, dude, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, I think I want to do that. So let's scoot the X by 1 so that we have the 1 pixel border. And then we will do a Love.graphics rectangle with a line mode and try to get it to match this these outlines. So let's do that here, where we're gonna say, let's set our color to red so that we can see it at least, and then we're gonna do a Love.graphics rectangle, and we're gonna give it a line mode, and we're gonna give it an X and a Y. And the X is going to be 0. The Y is going to be this loot string offset -1. And then the width is going to be it's 10 pixels. Each fret is 10 pixels long. So 1 pixel border on each side would be 12 pixels. So X, Y, width is 12, and height is going to be 4 times 10, which is 40, but plus a 2 pixel offset for each one. So that should be plus 6, so 46 for Y maybe? Let's see. Oh my gosh, it's close. It's like a weird transparent. Why does it look... Looks like it's more than a 1 pixel border. Maybe we messed up the... Dang, I can't believe we got that close on the first try, actually. Okay. So yeah, we need a little bit taller. But we also... Why is it not it's like a little bit transparent. Just shrinking inventory slots by 1 pixel from each slide. From each side. Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, dude. I'm excited for dialogue stuff in my game, and inventory stuff, because I don't have that yet either. But we need, this I think is 48. That's looking better. I don't get why it's transparent still, though. Let's try to put in our own red. Oh, and now we got transparent purple. What's going on there? Oh. But why is it transparent? It's weird because it's not a pure 1 pixel border either. Let me look up. I'm gonna look up the fill mode because I don't know if I've used that before. Not fill mode, the line mode. Draw mode, line. Yeah, draw an outline shape. It's just off. And it's transparent. What is going on? Okay, I don't get why it's transparent. I really don't. We're setting full opaqueness here. If we were to put a lower transparency, would it be less transparent? Yeah. So, what is going on? How come 255 isn't completely opaque? This is really strange to me. If we just try to draw a fill, will it be transparent? That's a solid red, so why is the line mode not solid? Because it's drawing from the same... What the flip? That's confusing to me. Because if we turn this to fill, it'll be solid. But we don't want it solid. We want it line. And that becomes transparent for some reason. I don't know why that's the case. But we do want to render this before our frets. Okay, let's get our other frets in there. Nice. So we've got our frets held in there. Thanks, Katron. Yeah, it's coming together. I just don't get why it's transparent. I don't get why the line mode of the Love.graphics rectangle is coming in transparent. We could export a PNG. I just don't get why it would be transparent in the first place. So I do want to scoot it over to the left a bit because it looks like we're cutting off the left side of the border with it. Yeah, the right border and top and bottom border are thicker than the left, and I don't know if there's any right pro. So yeah, this is just how it is. I'll just ship the game because that's just how it is, you know. It's like, yeah, that's just, you know. I'm drawing it with full opaqueness. I don't get it, dude, because it's like, if I don't even change the color, but I just change the fill type or the mode, it renders fully opaque like it should. But when I draw it with a line mode, it's transparent. I don't get it. But let's scoot this over by 1. Yeah, that looks flush now. Let's... I don't know. I pulled up the documentation, and the draw mode for line didn't have anything to do with transparent, but maybe we can ask ChatGPT or something. Love2d, line mode, rectangle, transparent. Set line style? Set line width? I didn't know you could do that. Maybe it's this background color? There's a set color, but then there's also a set background color. Let's try this set background color. I don't know if that does anything different. Set color. What the heck? So yeah, a line mode, they're setting the color to full white, and then this is full black. But it looks like we can define a line style too. Set line style rough. I don't know what the heck that is. Let's see what that looks like. Let's try to do that. Oh. Is that better? It does look opaque now. Okay. I mean, I don't know why that fixed it, but it fixed it. Never use set background color, but it looks like a color for the line parameter. Okay. Yeah, for whatever line mode. Shit, man. Why is that too... Okay. There we go. Oh, it's still off. Yeah, we need the width to be 12. But... Okay, why... Okay, now... Oh, we just need to do this with a 2. Because it's a 2-pixel, 2-wide pixel now, so... For the border is 2 pixels now. Okay. Nice. Okay, sweet. So what's next is that we need to shift the notes that we pressed. Oh, nice. Okay, yeah. I didn't know. I mean, hey, dude, if it works, it's not dumb. If it works, it is not dumb. It might be stupid, but it is not dumb. Okay. And then part of me is thinking we only show this this beatbox if frets are being held, so that way we don't have a big red... I mean, I guess it depends on what color we want it. I don't want it to be red. I just chose it red so it's easy to see when we're making it here. So maybe we'll only render that if frets are being pressed, so that it just looks a little cleaner, right? So let's get this rid of. Okay, I am not the most Windows adept person. Okay. Ideally, we don't have a 2 here for that, but I don't think we're going to move it. What's cool is we could change this lute string offset, and we can shift all of the lute strings, so that's kind of cool. I think we only want to render the beatbox if there is a fret being held. So when we do the rendering for the beatbox, we only want to do... Come on, man. What the... We only want to do this if our frets held, if the number of frets held is greater than 0, then we want to render the beatbox. And then, let's see. Nice. And then maybe the beatbox is like a more muted color if frets aren't being held, and then you can see them once you hold. I don't know. I feel like rectangle of 1, a thickness of 1 instead of 2, it might be better. It's just a little, it just looks a little too chunky. Let's see what it looks like with 1. And this is what sucks about those magic numbers. If we chuck in a 1 here, it does look okay, I think. So we need a height of 2 smaller. And we need to shift down our beatbox 1 pixel, 2 pixels, and then to the right 2 pixels. Or okay. Fuck. Yeah, let's just shift our beatbox down 2 pixels, and then we'll move our frets accordingly. So we'll move this down 2 pixels, width And height. No. Okay. This... Crap, man. Why... Let me see. Okay. So, we need a bigger height. Shoot, man. Needs to be right in the middle there. Okay. So the width needs to be 1 pixel less, and then we need to scoot them inwards just a bit. Yeah, so we need to scoot them left 1 pixel on all here. So all of these 2s will become a 1. Okay. Yeah, I think I do want to render the beatbox if you don't hold anything down, but I want it to be super subtle. So I think we should choose like a deep blue for the beatbox. Red, green, and blue. Let's see what... That's a purple. So let's maybe go 55 on the red. Yeah. Because I like the cyan and the dark blue there. Okay, and then we want to set the color to a different color. Okay, so if frets held is greater than 0, we want to set the color to the blue. Otherwise, we want to render, or actually, I guess we would render here, and we would set the color to be a more transparent or just overall less blue. I don't know. Color. I think I want to take down the transparency a bit. We'll see what that looks like. It's like the beatbox will be there, but not as visible. That doesn't look right. It's because we need the set line style before the color? I don't know. Okay. Okay. I don't know if I like that. That's what I was thinking, but I don't think I like it. I don't know. It might grow on me because it's like I kind of want... I think there probably should be some indicator that where the timing is if you're not holding a fret. So let's see. Kind of feel like this should be under the strings so it's not so in the way. So maybe we change the render order. Yeah, let's try that. Instead of doing the color shift, what we're gonna do is if we have a fret held, we're gonna render it on top of the strings. But we would want to render, where are we rendering the strings? We render the strings right here. So if it's a lute state, I think we want to render the beatbox under the strings and then render them over if... Yeah, I like them in the back like that. Oh, that looks much better. So it's in the background so that if notes are coming in, you can be like, oh, I have to hit it once it's in the blue box or whatever. But they're behind the strings so it doesn't get in the way. Okay, sweet. Cool. And then there's gonna be, I think there has to be a selection for the song that you want to attempt to play, right? Because you have to queue up which song is going to be scrolling. So I think we might have like a little UI down here that has you click whatever tome you've unlocked. So if you've got the beach tome for the forest or whatever, maybe you can click it up and pull up the music, which will then cue the bass notes to play. Or for you to play. Yeah, because we need a way. I'm thinking the sheet music will go down here. Like it'll be the 4 bass notes will appear right here, and those will be the first 4 notes that come flying in. And then those will go on loop, and then the bottom is the rest of the melody. So the first 4 you only play once, and then the melody you play once through. And then if you hit all the notes and you're in the right scene because you solved the riddle, then it'll unlock the next biome for you. That's looking good. I like that. The only thing I am not super happy about is the fret 1 to fret 2. That looks maybe a little too rough to me. So we might, maybe we come up with, maybe it's a vertical line instead of a diagonal line. Yeah, maybe it's a vertical line. I don't know. I just think the diagonal line looks a little bit better when you kind of write them all out like it's music. So we might figure something else out there. Because in my mock-up, it's thicker than one line. So maybe we just make it thicker. Let's see what it might look like thicker. Yeah, that might look better. Let's see. Save as a PNG. Fret 1. I don't know. I don't like it worse, but it looks too chunky to me compared to the other ones. We can leave it for now, and I can brainstorm about a different potential shape, because it just looks a little lopsided when you switch it like this. Well, I don't know. We'll leave it for now. I do want to take off this frets held render. Yeah, we'll take this off because that's actually pretty good now that we've got that working. And then I want to go to our display FPS. And I think I want to change the color to be white. Okay. And you know what? We can put this... I just want to put this out of the way. I don't want it here. Where are our other fonts? We have a classic font 8, a small font at 4, a pixel font, and a classic font. Let's try small font here. Oy, small font is not it. Okay, we'll just put it here. We'll put it at... screen width limit? Screen width limit. Just want it out of the way of the screen there. Yeah, like that. Maybe a little more on the X, just a bit. Nice. A little bit cut off, okay. Sweet, that's it. Cool, so now that's out of the way, and now if we demo it, we can walk in this little cave, we can pull out our little lute, and press different frets, and play different strings. Now, ideally, we need each lute string to be modified by each fret. So, if the bottom string is played, that's in F, but if the fret 1 is held and then bottom string is played, that'll be a G. This will be an A, and then a B flat if the 4th fret on the bottom string is played. Thanks, K-Tronics. Yeah, dude, it's coming together. I really like how it's shaping up. I won't get the lute stuff, the string alterations working today because I'm a little tired, but we will do that tomorrow. Holy crap. So we imported all 12 notes for our new frets, and then we essentially are conditionally rendering them based on if the fret buttons are held, and we gave us a little beatbox to place them in. So that's looking cool. I'll say that we added beatbox for fret guides, working fret holds, need to incorporate the fret modulations. I don't know if that makes any sense, but we will call it. Yo, it's 6 a.m. Happy 6 a.m. to you. Yeah, time to wake up there. We've got a fellow game dev team member streaming right now, so I will raid out to Quellis Dev. Be sure to check out his channel if you like more game dev stuff, but thanks for hanging, y'all. I'll be back tomorrow, and we'll get our actual frets playing different notes, which should be fun. And then, yeah, hopefully, Prosto, you get a good night's sleep, even though it's morning. Hopefully, you can get a nap in. But thanks for watching, y'all. Peace out.